Good evening, TC.
Good evening, Gabby, and welcome back, everyone.
Absolutely, to our weekly podcast, Terry Curran's The Curran View, with the Idol of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. You said it wouldn't be long, and it wasn't very long to the summer flu. Did you go on your holidays? What have you been doing since
I've
we've
not been
bit of a
obviously not
relapse?
been anywhere, but we had been like years, so
Yeah.
that's all difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can stay country up and down, but the weather's not been particularly good. But she's going away anyway next month, so so she'll enjoy that.
Lovely, and you're right, the weather has been up and down, but it's been more down than up, hasn't it? June was very nice, but July has been absolutely awful. I wish this global warming
June, we
had
had
hit
3
Birmingham.
days, but I tell you what, this global warming's getting me down.
It is. It's ever so wet, this global warming is, isn't it? It has stopped raining in Birmingham now. I think we're going to get 3 days of summer again. But what have you sourced for us, T, in our magic moments? There's been a load, and we've only just
Should I
ticked
nick
off.
your magic moment?
You can nick, because I've got loads of you, man. You can nick anything you like.
No, by the way, what a goal. What an unbelievable goal. But I'm going for the... I look beyond our critics in this country about bad defending. That's for a manager to see who's causing that type of problem when goals get scored against you. But I'm going for the Ipswich goal. Mumbamba, absolutely. Went down past 2 or 3 players, or 3 or 4 players, drops his shoulder, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and then slides it into an empty net. Absolutely brilliant goal.
Ballymumba.
Yes, Ballymumba.
He plays for Plymouth, don't he?
Yes, that's what I said, Plymouth.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Ipswich. I must have missed.
Plymouth.
Yeah, Plymouth.
Sorry.
Versus
Did I say I
Huddersfield.
might have said? I don't know, but I bet you just played against Huddersfield, I said.
Yeah, it was a great, what a goal. Again, when I posted up, people going, terrible defending, terrible. And yeah, okay, it was.
Yeah, but I did that, you know, I did it on purpose, acting goal, because that's the first thing people turn around and say.
Yeah.
And as it happens, there's about 5 or 6 turn around.
No, yeah. but when you get the ball, you know you've done it.
How can you stop it?
Exactly. And when
somebody's at full pelt, and he drops that shot, the only way you can do that is bring him down. And what happens when you bring people down?
Exactly. And this is what we want to see. We want to see positive play. We want to see players get the ball. I think you referenced that goal last night from Swansea. I mean, what a blinding goal that was. But there's been quite a bit. I mean, I haven't put his name down. I don't think. I've got bits and pieces all over my magic man. I started with Messi's free kick.
In fact, when you wrote on after that Charity Shield game,
we're
going to be in for a bad thing, and I was thinking to myself, Gabby, have you seen some of these goals on Saturday?
I know. I was working on Saturday, so I didn't see much. The Charity Shield, I got home from work and I sat down and I thought, what a pile of tripe that is. And then I've been sort of looking through. They say that Swansea player last night, it was a late one because I'd already written everything down. But, I mean, what a bit of skill and a brilliant strike. But Lionel Messi's free kick, 4-4 against Dallas. What a goal. I mean, what a revelation.
He has been a revelation out there, you know, hasn't he?
Absolutely. It's worth it. Every penny Apple are paying him.
Yeah, without a question of a doubt. And who wouldn't take to him? But the Americans have taken to him, and he's produced some magic. You can go on. Some of the players are past the best out there, but don't forget he's 35.
Yeah.
You know, the guy's just an unbelievable player.
And it's mad, really, because when he was at Paris Saint-Germain, okay, he's playing in Ligue 1 in France, but that ain't the greatest level. He didn't seem to be comfortable in that shirt, did he, with his teammates? You didn't see Messi laugh. You see Messi laugh a lot since he's joined into Miami.
Who's the main man? Who's the main man into Miami?
Oh, Messi.
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 So he goes to Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to play. Choose how good you are as a player. Yeah. You've got to play as a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to do that because the team, if you play as a team, you win trophies.
Yeah.
You couldn't ask for a better forward line than what Paris Saint-Germain have.
Yep.
Which is Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi. Mm-hmm. The problem with that All three of them want to take free kicks.
Yep.
Want to take corners.
Yep.
Want to score goals.
Mm-hmm.
Want to be the main man.
Yep.
That's why you can't have that.
Yep.
Unless you've got the three what really, really, really want to play with each other and not. I'm not saying they're jealous. There's got to be a better word than that. They want to outdo each other. You can't have it. You've got to have a team balance.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened to him. I mean, and you're 100% right. And I agree with hardly what you just said there. He's playing with a smile on his face.
And it is great to see. I mean, he scored 4 goals already? And I tell you what I loved as well, the embrace at the end. And I did post up a few magic moments from this boy. I'd not heard of him before, but he's born in Buenos Aires, only a young kid, Alan Velasco, and he plays for Dallas. He looks one hell of a player as well. And that's what I love with football. I love to watch moments of skill. Leicester just took the lead in Nacho, by the way. Nice little backheel goal. I love to watch bits of skill from players. Then I watch the player again. I think, hello, I didn't know about him. Hulk's goal. Did you see Hulk's goal for Atletico Mineiro in Brazil?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
When would you say that? 35, 40 yards. Left footed strike.
I was nearly going to post up. Gabby, what was you on about? If this is to go by.
What a goal.
Because there has been some unbelievable goals, hasn't there?
Phenomenal. And then there was Shane Lavery for Blackpool, which I've got to say was my favourite goal of the weekend because of what he'd done when the goalkeeper come out. He's just lifted, scooped the ball up, and it's gone in. I thought the levels of skill for that. I mean, Messi's goal, brilliant. Hulk's goal, brilliant. Mumba's goal, fantastic. But I thought Lavery's goal just added that little bit more skill to it, and so that is my ultimate magic moment. But my word, we have been spoilt and we've only been playing a few days, and the Charity Shield is a long and distant horrible memory from me, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, you don't. Sometimes the Charity Shield can produce it. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get injured before the beginning of the season, because both teams need to make a good start, don't you?
Yeah, they do.
Man City, not as much as Arsenal, because Man City are capable. They're always going to have that massive strength in depth, which you'll see them for all the 4 competitions again this coming season.
Absolutely. There is speculation, as we're talking now, it's watching the Leicester game. I just said that Inacho's just scored 7 minutes and 39 seconds played at that game. Paqueta might be joining Manchester City. That looks as though that'd be a fabulous signing if Pep can get that one over the line. I'm a big fan of that kid.
Well, you know as well as I do, Pep will get it over the line. He'll get it over the line, make no mistake on that. Very rarely he misses out on anything.
Absolutely, and if memory serves me right, Silk was one of the agents behind the initial transfer, taking Paqueta to West Ham United. And again, kids, don't believe everything that you read, because you'll see all these figures touted around and mooted on these news channels, etc., etc., and most of them are vastly overinflated. I think they take into consideration absolutely everything, and when I say everything, I think it means winning the Champions League 3 seasons on the trot. It's crazy what they put into a transfer fee these days.
So, well, I mean, no respect to Declan Rice, 100 million for Declan Rice. Do I think he'll make the difference to Arsenal? No. Do I think he's a good signing for Arsenal? Yes, but he'll not make the difference to Arsenal. I'll guarantee you that.
I've never been a fan of Declan Rice, and we've covered that many times on the podcast. He just doesn't do it for me. I think he's the most overrated player that I've ever seen kick a football, and I think you're right, T. He's a good player, and good for Arsenal to get that kind of quality of player in. But no way do I think he'll make that difference between them being runners up to league champions. Not for me. I'd have preferred Paqueta. I think he's an absolute quality player.
Without a question of a doubt.
He's my kind of player. Egg Chaser signs for Birmingham City. I looked at that and I thought, blimey, Brady's back. And well, it will be 30 years next year when we had the first inside story, the manageress. There's a Burnley documentary coming out, I believe, Friday, a three-parter, following on from Arsenal, following on from Sunderland, following on from everybody else, Tottenham. They all seem to be doing these documentaries.
Newcastle had that to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Birmingham City were the first, and that was a great documentary. I love that taxi driver, by the way. I don't know where he went. But, yeah, Egg Chaser, I couldn't believe it. Tom Brady. I mean, what's he doing buying minority shares at Birmingham City? I mean, he don't know nothing about football. He's an
Well,
NFL player.
you don't have to know anything about football to earn money.
No, absolutely.
And they keep telling me about football. There's no money in football. So why do these people invest in these companies? I mean, according to Forbes, he's supposed to lost a lot of money with that FBX. Is it FBX in America?
I don't know.
He invested a lot of money in that. You know, that second-highest Democratic donor.
Oh, right, okay.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Okay.
And he lost a lot of money, he did. And when I saw it, I thought to myself, and what about the ones at Leeds United? It's incredible,
49ers,
isn't it?
Washington 49ers, isn't it?
Yeah, these are, you know, American superstar football players. Their football, not our football, as they call our soccer out there, but their football. I mean, well, we call it football here. I mean, I look at it as a rugby match more than anything else. But when you look at it, what's happening? And everything I said has turned out right. They all this coaching, and they're all moaning and groaning about me trying to put across constructive criticism, and it would all backfire on them. It has all backfired on them.
Absolutely, and I can't get excited. I'm looking at all the socials and a lot of me Blues mates, etc. They're all getting absolutely carried away. Tom Brady, the greatest superstar on the planet, he's now in at Birmingham City. He's a natural born winner, and I'm like, for the life of me, I can't get excited. What does he know about football? What's he going to do? What's his role? We've had this fella at Chelsea, Todd Bowley, gone and spent absolutely lashings of amounts of money at Chelsea, made them worse. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be good.
It did, but it doesn't mean that he can't turn it round.
100%.
What I can understand is when you're going to spend that kind of money, get the elite managers.
Yeah.
I do like the kid what took over Chelsea. I do like him.
Yeah.
The problem is, but I always put across to everyone is, can he handle the big name players?
Well, he didn't do that very well at Paris Saint-Germain.
He did it shocking,
didn't he? Yeah.
I'm not about Pochettino.
Oh, beg your pardon.
I'm on about the kid from Browne. What's his name? Come on.
When Potter went in there, yeah, Potter. Absolutely. Yeah. You said straight away from the get-go, it's how he handles the big elite players, and you were right.
You know, I don't. You know, it's not about being right with me. It's what I watch it and I analyse it.
But it's your experience.
You know, all those goals what you put on this weekend. You know, of course you can pick a fault with any goal. Majority of goals are mistakes.
Exactly.
The problem is for a good elite manager or a good manager to say, right, Gabby is the one what's causing us a problem here.
Yeah.
But if I keep liking Gabby and I keep playing him when Tom Curran is a better player.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, football is a game of two things: scoring goals and conceding less.
Yep.
It ain't about a game of two halves, as everybody turns around. It's about scoring goals and defending.
Yeah.
Defending when you haven't got the ball. Who can sort it out? Who can organise it? And if you don't get that right, Leeds United are getting beat 1-0.
Blimey. They've got something wrong recently. They're getting something wrong again tonight. I mean, they did get the draw in the last minute.
I'll tell you what they get wrong. Not appointing an elite manager because it's an elite club.
Yeah.
Right? And listen, Leeds United, even when Bielsa were there, and I like Bielsa, as you know, what did I tell you? They haven't got a goal scorer.
No, absolutely, 100%. If you ain't got a goal scorer, you're going to struggle at any level of football. There was a lot of talk about him going into Tom Brady. This is going into the Blues dressing room and giving a team talk before kick-off. And I looked in and I thought, I've never heard anything so embarrassing in my life. If you're playing there, I mean, you're playing at a better level than at Birmingham City, but you're playing, you're ready to 30 minutes to kick off. This fella who you may recognise, you may not. I didn't know who the fella was. I'd heard of his name, but I wouldn't be able to pick him up in an identity parade. I didn't know.
Well,
I didn't know who he was, Tom Brady. But he's an
well,
NFL star. Now, if he comes and gives you a team talk as a football player, I'm guessing you are closing your ears because there's nothing he can say to you in a team talk going into a game of football, in my opinion. What's your
well,
take?
the two things on that.
Mm,
What you were saying there about not recognising him, I would have recognised him if he hadn't lost a lot of money in
yeah,
that cryptocurrency. But
got you.
there's more to that than meets the eye.
Sure.
Now, the other thing is, I can remember Laurie McMenemy inviting Bill Shankly into our dressing room when I played for Southampton against Everton.
Mm,
And really, I know it's a different ball game, but the world sports now is renowned for all these young lads what's into sports. The majority of them will know who that rugby player is or American football player is. And majority of them will. I will guarantee you that.
yeah.
And he is this superstar American football. So some of them may be excited about it, may think what he's got to say. He may go in that dressing room and he may turn around and talk about, nothing can stop you if you believe in it and if you work for it. So I get all that, but I understand you. But the football's changed. I mean, I didn't think it had, but it's changing and changing and changing for the better.
No, not for me.
Not really. No.
Not for me too. I think it's changing a lot for the worse. We must also rest in peace, Trev Francis and Chris Bart-Williams. Awful news just leading up to the football season. Two Sheffield Wednesday players, and Trevor, clearly a Birmingham City legend, started his career off Wonder Boy, Super Boy, at the age of 16 and scoring 4 goals against Bolton Wanderers in 1971. Terrible losses. I mean, Trevor, 60, what was Trevor, 67? And Chris Bart-Williams, what was he? He was only about
I
40,
thought
wasn't he? It's terrible.
68.
68 was he, Trev, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
my age.
yeah, just awful, isn't it, T?
Yeah, it's we are getting old, and we do know things happen, but it's crazy that they don't give you really what's happened to him really. But it's a very sad day, for him passing. It's such a young age in a sense when he looked fit. I mean, I knew Trevor, I knew him quite well really, and it's. He was really down when he lost his wife,
Yeah.
and he was just turning himself back round, and he got himself another partner, and which I found strange because like he was madly in love with his wife Ellen.
Yeah.
So, but Chris Bart-Williams, what 49, 50?
He was. Yeah, he was. He was. I thought he was more 40, but I mean, he may well have been 40 plus, touching 50. But again, young kid, terrible, far too young to die.
Yeah, without a question of a doubt.
Yeah, very, very
See, the
sad.
problem with all that, Gabby,
Yeah.
is there's been a lot of deaths, and they're not being reported on, have they?
No, absolutely. We don't know what's going on, but we do know when they pass away, and it's very, very sad. And I love the picture that you posted up about Trevor on the day of his passing. A lovely picture of you and Trevor at Hillsborough.
Yeah. I used to see him about twice every 5 months, that type of thing,
Okay.
at dues. I was there that day. I mean, Alan Wilkinson, but Alan Wilkinson gets to a lot of Sheffield Wednesday games, But it was nice to see Trevor and have a good chat with him and see that he was getting himself back mentally well again. Because, like I say, he'd lost a lot of. He was down when he lost Ellen, his wife. He
Yeah.
was really, really down, and he started to pick himself back up again, which were good to see, to be honest.
Yeah, terrible. So rest in peace to Chris Bart Williams and Trevor Francis. Book Corner Tea in association with myfootballbooks.com. Andy always gives us a recommendation. And this week it's The Man Who Kept the Red Flag Flying by Wayne Barton. And on this day, which was yesterday, the 8th of August 1910, Jimmy Murphy was born. He literally was the man that kept the red flag flying after Munich, and also manager of Wales. And because he was manager of Wales, that's why he didn't travel to Munich with the team.
Yeah, yeah. Um, always been right up there with Sir Matt Busby, especially as his right hand man,
Yeah,
and he was part of that great building of the Busby Babes.
he certainly was, and what a team they were, weren't they? Again, another group of kids cut down in their prime and died far too young. But there are many books out there, guys, regarding the Busby Babes and individual babes as well. But this one, The Man Who Kept the Red Flag Flying by Wayne Barton, and it's the story of the great Jimmy Murphy. One in a Million, as we're talking about Trevor. Trevor Francis autobiography with Keith Dixon. So that's another book that was written a couple of years ago, and I picked it out as a poignant moment with the passing of the great man. What's the greatest memory that you have of Trevor in a
Well, it's not.
football sense?
It
Football
isn't
sense.
the. It isn't uh, the European Cup when they met in the ball.
Yeah.
Um, and Trevor got that reputation as much as Glenn Hoddle that he didn't pull out all the tricks for England.
Mm,
But playing him in the wrong position. I mean, Trevor always wanted to play through the middle,
yeah.
and he would always fight in that with England and with Notts Forest. The biggest moment I looked at Trevor as a 16-year-old scoring 4 goals.
Mm,
You know, because whatever you say about our league, whether it's good, technically good or not, it was one of the most physical leagues you would ever play in.
yes.
Brutal, and he was playing at that time, and there was no mercy whether it was 16 or 20, 29 or 26. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Yeah.
To score 4 goals in a game at a young age is remarkable.
Absolutely. Do you know who marked him on his St Andrews debut? It was a St Andrews scoring debut in 1971, but do you know what player
Ron
marked him?
Atkinson,
Yeah, it was Big Ron. Ron would say
not
to
bad,
me,
is it?
yeah, Ron would say to me, I used to say to Trevor, I never give you a kick. He said, and Trevor says, well, I scored. He's, well, maybe one, I'll give you that. But yeah, Trevor Francis. And when he made his debut for England, my cousin was working as a chef in the D Club, and they made him a cake, and they had a number of Subutio Birmingham City in a Birmingham City kit. There may have been, I don't know, up to a dozen, maybe not that many, but I got one of the Blues players off that cake that they baked for Trevor to mark his international debut against Holland, 1977, I think it was. I think it was Jan Peters that scored 2 goals at Wembley that night. England went down 2-0. I remember it vaguely now. Again, it's so many years ago, but yeah, lovely memories there of Trevor
Uh,
Francis.
and the lovely memories of the Dutch team because,
Oh,
from that 1974
yeah.
right through to 78,
Mm,
that was a fabulous, produced 2 fabulous football teams with the Dutch coaches.
absolutely. Johan played that night, but of course, Johan didn't go to Argentina. One uh, one theory is that he'd retired, and
Yeah.
the other theory was his missus wouldn't let him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that could have been the difference between Holland winning
Absolutely.
and Argentina winning.
Absolutely, and I mean it was very close. Went to extra time, didn't it? The final, if memory serves me right,
I think it did,
three
yeah.
three
Yeah.
one. I think Mario Kempes scored 2 goals, and the Dutch masters were fantastic. in 1978
And I
and
remember
in
Archie Gemmill scoring
1974.
an unbelievable goal.
Oh, it was
You remember
tremendous.
that?
Oh, it was fantastic. It danced. I think Scotland were already out, wasn't they,
There was,
at
yes.
that time? But what a goal by Archie Gemmill. Again, the Scots, they go to these World Cup finals, like in 74. No, was it? No, 74. It was Willie Orman that took him at 74. And it was Ali's Army, wasn't it? We were going to the
Yeah, in 70,
Argentine. Do
yeah.
you remember that cup, that song that they done for the World
Yeah.
Cup? And
We're
then
on the march for Ali's Army.
absolutely. Didn't they draw 0-0 with Iran? Something like that. They certainly got beat by Peru. Kubelas scored a couple of
Yeah, and then they
crackers.
go and beat Holland
Oh, it's mad.
3-1.
It's crackers, isn't it? But again, that is football. But yeah, 1 in a million. Trevor Francis, the autobiography with Keith Dixon. I met Trevor a couple of times. In fact, I says to Trevor, any chance of doing an interview with me? And he says, well, I've said everything really that I need to say. I've done it all. I says, Trev, you've never been interviewed by me yet. And James, his son, looked at me and smiled. But sadly, we never got to do that Legends of the 70s interview with Trevor. So, yeah, God rest you. And thanks for the memories, Trevor, also known in Birmingham as God. Gallus, I think that's how you pronounce it too. Scotland, England, and the 1967 World Cup final by Michael McEwen. What a game that was. And your favourite Sheffield Wednesday player starred and scored in that game, of course.
Jim McCalliog.
Yeah. Come to England and did a number on us, didn't they?
Not straight after the first team to beat England
Yeah,
after the World Cup.
yeah,
It
absolutely.
would have to be Scotland, wouldn't it?
Well, again, you could argue that Scotland and England very close in terms of ability, and perhaps if
Yeah.
that World Cup would have been played at Hampden Park, it might have been Scotland that run out winners of the World Cup in 1966 because they had some players, and none any better than Jim Baxter. Bobby Browne was
Oh,
the manager at the time, and
yeah.
I remember talking to Jim McCalliog. We'd done a Legends interview with Jim. I was talking to him, and before the game, Jim was just bouncing the ball up and, unsettling the nerves of the boys. And Jim Baxter's gone, right, come on, lads, let's get out there. And all Jim could hear is Bobby Browne going, best of luck, lads, best of luck. Jim took over. And I think that was vital because they had a few young players on show that day. And Jim McCalliog, as I say, scored a wonderful goal. But
Look, they had some great players,
the
and
great
they were a
Dennis
good
Law,
team.
Dennis
But they
Law.
do always lift the game when they're playing England and all, don't they?
100%. And Jim Baxter done a little bit of keepy uppy on the English pitch, didn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
who else would go to Wembley, stick the chest out, get the ball against the world champions, flick it up a couple of times, back early. Come on, let's have a go, boys. But yeah, the great Scotland team, led by the wonderful Jim Baxter, and in this book, Gallus, coming out shortly, so that'll be an interesting read. So I shall be getting that um, into my library of football books. The new rules, how do you see these new rules panning out? 110 minutes of time in a game of football rather than 90. They seem to be adding on 15 minutes second half, and first half's usually
It's going
3, 4
more
to
and
5.
more. It's going more and more like the American way,
Mm,
isn't it?
yeah, it
Isn't it?
is. Yeah,
You know, stopping for adverts and all that type of thing.
yeah. Absolutely.
Pathetic. You know, they have how people allowed the woke brigade
Yeah,
to really take over. Well, they're going to lose. I guarantee you that. But I mean, I'm getting fed up with it, to be honest,
mm.
because you know 90 minutes is 90 minutes. Yeah, wasting time. I get that little bit, but
But Leicester wasting time.
do me a favour.
What's the difference between wasting time, taking the sting out of the game, passing the ball? I mean, I don't get where they actually come from with this. We're adding time on for wasting time. How do you define wasting time? And when they say the ball's not in play, the ball's only in play for about 50 minutes in the Premier League. What? You're telling me 40 minutes that ball is not on the pitch? I'm not buying that. I'm
Well,
not having
even
it.
but it's always been like that.
Of
So
course
where
it
they
has.
getting all this added time from?
Absolutely. But how do you define when the ball's off the pitch? I'm listening to a debate today, and someone was saying, well, just because you're a bad team and you're trying to pass the ball and it keeps going out of play, what, you're going to add time on every time a bad player kicks the ball out of play? I mean, it's ridiculous to the extreme.
And to listen to the rest of this podcast, head on over to www.patreon.com/SRBmedia. Thank you.